So I am James. I am a almost 41-year-old adult male, and this is Cassandra. She is an almost 2-year-old infant female, and we both have male pattern baldness. Right? She's always had trouble growing hair on her hairline. Oh, it's starting to come in a little bit, but yeah, still not much hair there. So how is that? How can an adult male have a receding hairline, the same, almost like generally the same pattern as an infant female, based on the prevailing hair loss theories about hormones and genetics? Doesn't make sense, right? We're completely different ages. We have, I guess, similar genetics, but completely different hormone levels, if hormones even exist, right? An infant female is going to have different hormones than an adult male. Right, so what's the connection? How is it that we both have... I don't understand. Usually I understand what she's saying, but I don't know what that is. How is it that... What's the connection? How is it we both have the same general hair growth pattern? You can watch my other videos that talk about this, the skull shape. But I was feeling around her head the other day, and I noticed something. So I've noticed for a long time she has this bulging forehead. You can see how round her forehead is. And from the profile, if she turns to the side and cooperates, forehead, she's just loving it. You see how bulging her forehead is. And I have that bulging forehead too, if you ever seen my clay math videos. So I have this round bulging forehead. I thought that was the connection. It's a forehead. Then I started feeling around the top of her head. And you can't, unless you get an infant female and like with a hair growth pattern like this and you start feeling around the head, you can't really verify this. You just have to take my word for it. She actually has, so her hair back here is flat. She doesn't have any crown balding. If you can see. Yeah, no crown balding. Totally flat back of her head. But once I move my hand up to the front of her head, there's a bump there. The skull raises up right here where her hair is thin. And I don't know if you can, if you turn to the side, boom boom. Her name's Cassandra, but I call her boom boom. Does it look like my finger's going up? Right here I feel a raise. Anyway, fine. But my wife doesn't have that. She's got full hairline. There's no discernible raise in the contours, the topography, I should say, of her head when I went from her crown to the front of her head. But for Cassandra, I feel it. And for me, I feel it too. I feel like there's a raise, there's something bulged up right here, pushed up where my receding hairline is. I'd never noticed that before. But if you watch some of my other videos, I have a lot of pictures of guys with that feature. So there's two connections there. There's a bulging forehead, and then there's the bulging top of their head. The bulging forelock. So it kind of verifies things for me. So I've been figuring out what areas do I want to push back and try to recontour my skull, what areas to push back and flatten out, and I verifies it. We got to flatten out this too. If an infant females have a receding hairline and their forelock is raised, then that's part of the skull shape grotesquity that we have to correct. You know, monkey sounds? Monkey. Anyway, her skull will flatten out naturally. Right, this will flatten out, and this will flatten out just from developmental stuff. But the hair loss thing isn't developmental. There is a reason. There is a reason she can't grow hair here. And there's a reason that other infants can grow hair there. And it all has to do with skull shape. Find a toddler. Look at toddlers. Look at their hair growth patterns. look at their skull shapes. It'll become obvious why they can't grow hair on their head. And look for the same skull shape patterns in adult men. And it'll become totally obvious why we all have receding hairlines. Not all of us, but everyone has a receding hairline. It'll become obvious why we all do. We all have the same exact skull shape features. It's not DHT. Right? It's not genetics. Doesn't make sense, right? If she were a infant male, right, and then the theory would have to be the reason that she has this hair growth, or he would have this hair growth pattern, is because of genetic sensitivity, or just, unless you dismiss it as purely developmental, which is ridiculous. There's got to be a reason. You would say like, oh well, if you didn't dismiss it as developmental, if you say, oh well, he has genetic sensitivity to DHT as an infant, and then the genetics tell his hair not to be sensitive to DHT when he's like an older child before puberty, and then puberty hits, and then he all of a sudden becomes genetically sensitive to DHT again. Doesn't make sense. Right? Genetics is just, I give up. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. Right? And then this DHT crap, it doesn't make sense. If an infant female has the same hair growth pattern as an adult male, then it's not hormones. We just were on a bike ride. We saw a female that had a totally bald front of her head. Right? Totally different hormones than me. Didn't have any hair here. I still have hair here. A little bit. She didn't have any hair there. Why? She's got completely different hormones than me. I have different genetics or whatever. But I noticed front of her head, very round. Very, very round. Right? Very round. You got a very round front of your head, not going to grow hair. You got a very flat front of your head, flat top of your head, you're going to grow hair. Simple as that. And then the other hair loss theories don't make sense either. Like your context for like, okay, well it's all nutritional related. It's toxicity. She's not toxic. This is the least toxic baby you will ever find. Right? She's never been to a doctor. Never gotten anything injected into her. She eats grass-fed beef organs, sourdough bread, sauerkraut, all homemade. She drinks fermented raw goat milk kefir. Right? Everything she eats is organic. She eats fish eggs. She eats oysters. She eats cod liver oil. She eats like just all sorts of crap. Like it's like the most nutritionally dense diet you could possibly give an infant in the United States. Right. She's not toxic. It's not a nutritional deficiency. That's not why she can't grow hair. The only reason is her head shape. And it's because her natural head shape combined with she's got a rapidly growing brain in there and it's bulging out because the brain's got to grow. That's why she can't grow hair. That's why she has that head shape. It's a combination of those factors. Natural head shape, gotta grow the brain. Males, we're very logical, a lot of activity in here, probably pushing out on our skulls. That's my theory. Has to do with activity in here. This is where the expansion is. And then, yeah, so the other theory is, oh, well, it's fibrosis or it's inflammation. She's got no inflammation, right? No toxicity, no inflammation, no fibrosis. Right? She's not going to have to reverse fibrosis or reduce her inflammation in order to grow hair here. It'll just happen naturally. She don't have to do anything. I could actually feed her just a crap diet of just McDonald's, and she'll still grow hair here. Because that's just developmentally, it'll flatten out naturally. Won't be good for her, and I'm not going to do that. That has nothing to do with hair growth. And it's not gonna hurt to have a really clean diet, and I'm all for having a clean diet and not eating a McDonald's, but it's not gonna grow your hair back. Trust me, I would know. Because I've been cleaning up my diet, elimination diet, for like 7 years now. In fact, right now I'm just doing a straight carnivore diet. It's not growing hair back. It has nothing to do with your diet. It has everything to do with your head shape. All right, that's long enough. All right, boom, boom. Say goodbye. You gonna say bye-bye? Bye-bye. All right.